everyone, you're welcome back to How to Conference YouTube channel. I hope you had a wonderful day. I am Nurse Mary Michael, your host. I just want to take out time to thank everyone who has subscribed to this channel. And those who are yet to subscribe, please subscribe in order to not miss any video any Friday. Thank you. And always remember to turn on your post notification bells. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here again today, and we want to look at a very serious health condition, and that is conjunctivitis, what is popularly known as Apollo or the pink eye disease. Yes, we have to look at this condition because it has come in by virtue of the season. Like, it is high, there's almost an outbreak of it. So it is very important we look at this in order to break the chain. Conjunctivitis is an inflammation of the outer lining of the eye, what we know as the conjunctiva. You know, the conjunctiva lines the outer part of the eye, the outer part of the eye, yes, and the inner part of the eyelids, up and down. So when this membrane is inflamed, either by an allergy, by virtue of an allergy, an irritant, or a microorganism, it is known as conjunctivitis. Now, this condition affects both children and adults, affecting more of the very young and the very old because of the weak immunity of this immune status of these ones, the very young and the very old. You know, as one grows at the very early stage of life, the immunity is still trying to be established, to build up, and then getting to the very old age, there's degeneration. So this condition affects more of the very young and very old. Now, we want to look at the causes of this condition, and we're going to take that alongside the types. We're going to look at the types and the causes side by side. Let's take it from the less serious to the more serious. We have allergic conjunctivitis. Allergic conjunctivitis, as the name implies, comes with an allergy. We know some people are allergic to certain things, some to pollens, some to spores of molds, some to animal dander. We just have different allergies, some to drugs, to certain drugs, and even foods. Now, when an allergy comes, so someone who is hypersensitive to a particular thing, so the thing you're hypersensitive to is the allergen. So when this attacks you, when you're faced with an allergy, there are certain reactions that come up, certain reactions internally, and they display externally. So even if you're exposed to an allergy, to something you are to an allergen, something you're allergic to, you notice some allergic reactions, and such could be swelling of the eyelids, itching of the eye, and then tearing. You notice watery eyes. So when this comes, it comes up, you notice these symptoms. That is for allergic conjunctivitis. And the causes are those allergens. Talk about the pollen grains, whatever you're allergic to. Sometimes maybe you take a drug and then you notice certain things. That is for allergic conjunctivitis. We talk about irritative conjunctivitis. Now, as the name implies, irritation. There has to be an irritation. The eye has to experience an irritation before it can be categorized into this. There has to be an irritant, which is the factor now triggering the inflammatory response, which is the conjunctivitis. Now, there are certain things that can irritate the eye. Sometimes, the very common one is when you're in your kitchen slicing your onions, you notice that you may not even notice when the juice from the onion gets into your eye, but you notice you start tearing, as you start dropping tears. And later your conjunctiva becomes red. That's the outer part of your eye. The white becomes red or pink. That's a mild form of conjunctivitis. We talk about when we are exposed to smoke. Most of us that use some of us that use firewood to cook. When you're trying to boost your fire, you notice when smoke gets into your eyes, the next thing you start noticing is the change in color. It becomes pink, and if it's serious, you may have red eyes. So that's irritative conjunctivitis. We have other things that could irritate the eyes. We have some of us that swim, we notice that after swimming the eyes turn pink. That happens because of the chlorine in the swimming pool. Some pools are chlorinated, maybe rivers. Some of us swim in the rivers, and when you're done, you notice a change in the eye color. That is irritative conjunctivitis by virtue of the chlorine, that's the salt in the water. We have infectious conjunctivitis. This is a more serious one. Now, when we talk about infectious, it means there's an invasion of a microorganism. It could be a bacterium, a virus, or a fungus. When any of this gets into the eye, there's an inflammatory response. Of course, the body will try to fight a foreign body. Of course, the microorganism is not seen as friendly by the body, so it tries to fight, and that's the inflammatory response. This inflammation happens at every part of the body. Every part of the body, by the time a microorganism or a foreign body of any sort invades, the body tries to fight. So that is the eye's own way of keeping the eye safe. It tries to fight against, get rid of any foreign body that invades it. So when a bacterium, we talk of maybe a streptococcus or pneumococcus, gets into the eye, there's an inflammatory reaction. That is infective. That's for infective conjunctivitis. Now we're going to look at the description. How do we know we have conjunctivitis? How do you know one has conjunctivitis? This happens by virtue of the signs and symptoms, the signs you see and the symptoms you experience or the person complains of. Now for the signs, you notice a discoloration of the eye. You notice pink eye. You see the pink eye. That's why the condition is otherwise known as the pink eye disease, the pink eye condition. You notice a pink eye, or the eye could even appear red in a more serious case. The person, another thing you notice, swollen eyelids. The eyelids become swollen, and you notice discharge. You notice mucus discharge from the eye. This is the discharge comes in an infective, is particular to infective conjunctivitis. Every other signs and symptoms are typical to or atypical, basic to all sorts of the allergic, the irritative, and the infective. But when you talk about the discharge, that has to do particularly with an infective conjunctivitis. So this person will complain of sticky eyelids. So when you close the eye, it's a little difficult to open because of the presence of the mucus. There's itching, and there's blurred vision. The vision of the person is not usually very clear because of the presence of the mucus discharge on the cornea, on the black part of the eye. So there's blurred vision. The person is photophobic, not able to withstand light, so that brings the need for sunglasses. Now, how do we manage these conditions? How do we manage them? The eye is a very delicate sense organ, so you shouldn't notice anything and decide to treat on your own. When you notice something and then you try to deal with it on your own by maybe getting some leaves to extract its juice into the eye, it is very harmful. That is a very harmful eye practice. So whenever you notice anything in your eyes, please just go to the hospital. If you can contact your physician on phone, better. An ophthalmologist, to be specific. You have to see one. Now when you go, he or she examines, makes the necessary investigations he or she has to do. Sometimes the fluid, the discharge from the eye has to be taken to the lab for some investigations for the diagnosis to be made. Now you have to go to the hospital because an accurate diagnosis has to be made, because the various types of conjunctivitis have various ways of management. You don't need to take antibiotics for an allergic conjunctivitis or irritative. For allergic, by just taking away the allergen, you're done, and then your symptoms will get off, and the condition of the eye will improve. For irritative, you could wash the eye, and it's done. But if you feel something or you notice something get into your eye and you're not sure, just go to the hospital. Okay, if you wash and then it doesn't go away, please, you need to visit an ophthalmologist. Now, whatever may be the cause of the conjunctivitis, so far you notice something, you notice pinkish discoloration of the eye, you notice itching, pain, before you even start seeing discharge, please visit the hospital. Now, it is in the place of your ophthalmologist to make the necessary investigations and categorize your conjunctivitis for appropriate treatments. So please, you just need to go to the hospital. That someone has had it and took a particular drug doesn't mean, a particular eye drop doesn't mean you should go and buy that kind of eye drop. Just go to the hospital, your physician will make the diagnosis and treatment is done. Now we're going to talk about the transmission. This condition has to be well taken care of in order to prevent the spread of it. Now, conjunctivitis, especially for the allergic and irritative, these ones are not contagious. They are not contagious. But when we talk about the infective, now a microorganism has invaded the eye. When we talk about the infective, this particular one is contagious because you notice discharge and the fluid that comes out from the eye is contaminated. And so if this fluid passes to another person's eyes, you have spread conjunctivitis. Now, how can this fluid be passed? You may be wondering, how will I get to someone and then my eyes get to the person's eyes? No, that doesn't need to be done for it to be spread. By the time you use via the fingers, you take the fingers into your eyes, you rub your eyes, and then you don't wash. You may not know when you take it to some other person's eyes. The person becomes infected. Through sharing of face towels, sharing of eye makeup, sharing of contact lens, sunglasses, you could spread it. So please, during the period of conjunctivitis, don't share anything. Don't also use from another to return. If peradventure you do, please make sure you burn them. Thank you. Now we're going to talk about another very important aspect of this, which is way cheaper and way easier than all of this we've said. Everything we've said sounds complicated, but there's something cheaper and easier to implement to avoid all of this, and that's prevention. Of course, we know prevention is better, easier, and cheaper than cure. Now, how can we prevent conjunctivitis? How can we prevent conjunctivitis and also prevent recurrence of it? For those who have had it before, how can you prevent recurrence of it? In a daycare organization, you notice a child who has conjunctivitis coming. Please isolate this child. Isolate the child. It may be difficult. Call the parents to come take the child back. There, the ophthalmologist can be brought in to attend to him or her, and after that, after full recovery, he or she can return to school. This will bring about mutual benefits, because it will prevent the spreading of the conjunctivitis from this child to other children, and it will also protect this child in that by the reason of this inflammation, the immunity of the eye has been weakened. So more exposure can bring up a secondary infection to the eye, and that's more dangerous. So there's mutual benefits when the child stays away from school. There's benefit to him or her. There's also a benefit to every other child. Now, please, we have to implement regular washing of the hands. Wash your hands from time to time with soap and warm water. And also, try to not rub your eyes. Try to not rub your eyes. When you rub your eyes, you could introduce a bacterium into your eye or any microorganism into your eye. You could also irritate the eyes. We notice we sweat, and if you try to taste your sweat, there's salt, there's dust, there's so many things. So by rubbing your eyes with your fingers, you introduce germs into the eyes. So please, and for those, if you're having conjunctivitis, don't rub your eyes. If your eyes itch, there's a better way of handling it than rubbing it directly. You could just bring your hands here and do it this way. You can do it as many times as you wish to gain relief, but please try to not rub. Thank you. Don't share contact lenses. Don't share eye makeup. Don't share face towels. Don't share clothes. Most clothes you take them off by raising them from your head. So by that, when you do that, if you have conjunctivitis, it touches your eyes and goes off with anything. So whoever comes to put on that clothes again could contract it somehow. You don't know. You wouldn't know how it will happen, but it's likely to happen. Don't share face towels. Don't share sunglasses. If and then for those that during the time of the conjunctivitis, please try to not use your contact lenses. Don't use your eye makeup. Don't okay, even if you use your face towels, please burn after recovery. Burn after recovery. Your sunglasses, the sunglasses you use during this period, please make sure you burn them after recovery. Because if you can't burn, please try to sterilize them. Sterilize them to decontaminate them. Because if you don't do this, there could be recurrence of conjunctivitis. Okay, I think we've talked a lot. So please, let's just try to maintain a good health status when it comes to our eye. Beauty should be what is seen in the eye and not conjunctivitis. Thanks so much. See you next Friday. Bye.